Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution. Because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children. And not for coworkers either. And yes, that includes you, Cindy. I'm sorry, but your perfume is about to make me physically ill. I could smell you when you got out of your car.
You held that clock there for like 60 seconds or something.
I have. My arms are hurting, man. Jesus.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to rumble.com/JJW, where every weekday morning at exactly 6:30,
Right on the
dot. Meet to drink coffee and talk about the day's news.
The only reason it's not 6:30 in your house is because your clocks are wrong.
It's very likely. I'm going to have to talk to my wife about that.
You know, if you think about it, I say this every spring and fall. I always say this on the radio because I get to do this joke twice a year. It's not really a joke, but I'm like, if you think about it, twice a year, every year, a majority of the United States just all collectively decide that the time that it is not the time that it is, that it's an hour earlier or an hour later.
Right.
So I always said, and this was my radio joke that I do twice a year. Why don't we all just collectively decide that it's Friday afternoon and it can be Friday afternoon and we can leave work? Because if we all just decide that it's Friday, isn't it Friday?
I never understood why we didn't just back the clock up like 30 minutes and like just split the difference and just leave it like that. Why? What? Because like
conspiracy theories,
England decided the time or something?
No,
Man, the hell with England.
But if we all decide that it's 6:30, we're right on time this morning, and we appreciate you joining us.
You know what? You can't rush perfection, and you certainly can't rush whatever this is.
No, you can't. Did you have a good Father's Day?
I had a great Father's Day.
Excellent.
My wife and I dropped our kids off for church, and then we played hooky, and we went and had coffee, and we just had a little like Sun date. Because
nice.
Normally we all go to the church. Kids go to Sunday school. We go to church, and that's our normal Sunday morning. But yesterday we were like, it was pretty much me. I was like, hey Cassie, why don't we go on a Sun date? And so we went around and we went to like Ross, and we went to some store, and no, we didn't get. I don't know where we went. We just went kind of like tooling around, drinking coffee and just talking about stuff and having some time, just a little block of time where we weren't. Neither one of us were like on duty.
Yeah,
yeah. So
you could just do whatever you want.
Yeah. And we played. I played some games with my kids yesterday. Some board games.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got this thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I got this thing arrived in the mail yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Here's what I can absolutely do.
I can't hear you.
Exactly.
So
that's what I figured out.
You bought a very expensive. We call that in the radio business. There was always a thing that could kill your mic, and we called it the cough drop. That was the cough drop, because when you had to cough, it dropped you out. You could hit the button, it would drop you out. You could cough, and that was the cough drop. So you would always have a mute button, a cough drop.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, I can do more interesting things with it. I don't know. But, I just wanted to, whatever.
It's a fun gadget. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's a fun little gadget. All right. Sweet.
Yeah. Cool. Well, okay. Tell us what did you do for Father's Day? By the way, got certified right here. Certificado. Okay.
Yeah,
Feliz Dia del Padre. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
This says officially.
Read it.
Yeah, this says I'm the best father ever.
Padre, I know.
I got a certificate. Yeah. Feliz Dia del Padre. It's
you hold it up there and I'll be able to figure it out. Del Mundo Major.
My father's my hero.
My
My
hero, my
friend.
friend, my
Uh-huh.
mentor, Major. What's that? My teacher.
I don't know what Mejor Padre
I
del
know that
Mundo
word, but
means.
I'm just not. I'm actually studying Spanish. I was not required to take Spanish in high school, and when I got into my like middle 30s, I was like, maybe I need to learn Spanish. And a lot of the root words are the same. I just I'm not very proficient. I'm trying. I'm trying.
I'm working.
Right.
I'm
I got to see most of my kids. I got to see them over the weekend. I got to see all of them. I didn't get to see them all yesterday, but yesterday I got the chance to see Maggie and Kendra and Ashley, and we all went and we ate last night, and we had a good time. We just farted around with the kids and hung out. And Saturday I hung out with Deacon, and we got to go around and eat and do stuff. And for Father's Day, the kids and Ashley got me a couple of little things that I needed. I have to have a fan by the
oh,
bed, and my bed fan broke, so they got me a new one of those and some other little stuff. But they
okay.
got me tickets to a concert. It's a festival, and
Is it fish?
no, that would have been awesome. This is kind of even awesomer because for Father's Day, my kids got me tickets to the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. And it's actually not very far, about 3 hours away. And the Louder Than
Okay.
Life Festival is a 4-day, let me pull up.
4-day.
It's a
Wow.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday festival. And let me pull this up here and I'll show you. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay, here it is. Here is this 4-day festival. We only got tickets for one day. All right. We got tickets for the Thursday, so I'm going to miss a show. But
Oh my
here-
gosh.
yeah,
No. What?
here's
This them?
here's the tickets
Oh,
that Ashley got me was for
dude.
Foo Fighters, Weezer, Rancid,
Oh, those are on
311.
different days though. Okay.
No,
Okay. Okay.
these are all
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
each of these stacks is a
Yeah,
different day.
each of the
Okay. All
stacks is
right.
a different day. Friday's Tool, Godsmack, Limp Bizkit, Megadeth, Corey Taylor, Avenged Sevenfold, Pandera, Falling in Reverse, Pierce the
Ooh.
Veil, Baby Metal, Asking Alexandria, Deathlock, The Who. I mean, Saturdays are great. Suicide
How
Silence, and then
how much
Green
does it
Day.
sting for 311 to get fourth billing on the first day?
I know, man. I mean, that's what I told Kendra. We were talking about it last night. I was like, I've seen Weezer. I'd love to see Rancid. That's great. Coheed and Cambria is great. I've seen 311, but 311 is like number 3 favorite band of all time of mine.
Oh,
And
seriously?
yeah, I've loved
Wow.
311 since like 92 when nobody
I
knew
mean,
who the hell they were.
you can't really not. They have fun
But
songs.
and
Poppy.
I love Weezer. I've seen Weezer a long ass time ago. I've never seen Rancid. L7 is in there. Look, L7 is in there. Remember that?
Can you zoom that up a little bit? I can't see the
Uh,
tiny ones.
hang on,
I
let
feel
me.
like I'm failing a reading test here.
You are.
Yeah. Who else? Let's see. I don't know who L7. I don't think I know any of them after that on that first card.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know. I mean, I knew who L7 was, but I didn't know any of the other names. Beauty School Dropout. I
So,
think I'm just remembering that from Greece.
do you have
But
any
the
idea what
reason
the schedule will be like? Because it's probably going to go. It's probably going to open with like the people you don't know, and it's going
Oh
to
no, there's
build
like
all
two
the
or
way to the.
three. I think there's 2 or 3 stages or something like that.
Oh,
Um,
really?
but the reason that we got the tickets is because the Foo Fighters were always on. Ashley and I are concert junkies, and we like to get each other tickets to concerts for
All
presents
right.
instead of little gifts. So Foo Fighters are on both of our uh, concert bucket list.
Makes
So
sense.
so she got us tickets. We got 4 tickets though. We got 4, so the kids can go too, of course, because Alex and Kendra. Alex and Kendra, my concert junkies, will want to go. So, to make a
That's
long
great.
story longer, our music this week is going to be from bands that I'm going to get to see for my Father's Day present, Louder Than Life. So we're
So when
starting
is
off.
that? When is that?
It's
When is that?
September. It's like at the end of
Oh,
September.
so you got a couple months.
Yeah,
so
it's
you'll
like
be able to
95 days away.
run with this for a minute. Hey,
Yeah,
look at this
yeah.
band I found on this list.
Yeah, I can listen to every. That's what I was saying to myself. I was like, I want to listen to every band on this list just to see what they sound like. So our song
right.
today is Ruby Soho by Rancid. That was a big popular song for Rancid. Rancid was a 90s punk band, and they were, like I said, the definition of a 90s punk band, and they were they kind of renewed the interest of punk music in the 90s, because punk music had it goes in waves. It come up in the late 70s, early 80s, and then it went down in new age and all that, and metal and hair bands and stuff took over, and then it come back in the 90s with bands like Rancid and NoFX and Goldfinger and stuff like that were kind of and then they were kind of with the punk, but they were also with that little the kind of a happy little melody type. So Ruby Soho was great. Time Bomb that I'll put on our stream, that was another really, really good one. So check out Rancid. If you've never heard Rancid, just because the name, you might be like, oh no, dude. Tim Armstrong has this great Tim Armstrong, blah, 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 yeah. The bunch of Time Bomb, he's got that kind of punk rock voice. They're from California. I don't know why I was doing an English accent there, but they're
well, they might be doing fake English accent.
I don't know. He might be doing, but Tim Armstrong is a great singer and is a great record producer to this day. But Rancid's a great band. I've always loved them. I'm kind of really excited about seeing Rancid too. So it was a good Father's Day present for me, man. That was
That's awesome.
I didn't deserve it. I told Ashley afterwards, I was like, y'all are too nice to me. I don't deserve this. Yes, you do. No, I don't.
Oh, you're their big daddy. You deserve everything. All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. This is rumble.com/JJW. We are your two dads. Today's episode, this is June 19th, 2023. Today's episode, Hard Targets. Governor Abbott arms Texas public schools. Oh, this is okay. Look, it's a Monday. Not a lot of news is breaking up yet, but a couple of days ago, Governor Abbott did some interesting stuff, especially in the wake of Uvalde, and we've had a bunch of shootings lately. As I've been saying on the show for a while, or I feel like I've been saying it on the show for a while. When crazy people decide to do crazy stuff to other people, of course they target soft targets. They go where they know that nobody's going to defend. And schools, especially gun safe zones where, it's illegal to have a gun in the zone, they know that nobody's going to be shooting back, or at least not for a while. So schools are soft targets, and there's a lot of other kinds of places that are soft targets too. But in the wake of Uvalde, when we had some cowardly cops not do shit for 45 minutes and a bunch of kids got massacred, and then we've had some other shootings, didn't you? I don't know if there was one in Kentucky. Maybe it was Tennessee a few weeks ago. There was the university that the transgender lady shot up a bunch of kids, and the police there responded like in incredible amount of time and took that shooter down. So Texas Governor Abbott
the shooting at our high school here in my county with the one where my little cousin got killed.
That was a few years ago. You've mentioned that a couple times
that
too.
Was 4 or 5 years ago.
Did your school have armed security?
Yes, they did, and they were on it. And the police response was very. I can't say anything negative about that situation, about the law enforcement.
Right.
I can complain a lot about law enforcement until the sun goes down, because I think that it greatly needs freaking an overhaul. But I will have to commend them for that. I can't imagine where my head would be in that situation, but I don't have law enforcement training like they have and are supposed to have.
Right.
So balance.
Right.
But
yes, I mean, definitely training is absolutely essential. But you cannot just leave the belly up and open for bad guys to take advantage of especially the kids. So this so here's this story that
But these aren't the bad guys taking care of the kids, in the school. Like, you mean, are we thinking that these are the big bad, evil guys coming into school? No, these school shooters are kids from the school that
right.
know the shit about
Sometimes, yes.
school. No,
Yeah.
most times they are. That's
Yeah.
not sometimes. It's like every
Yeah.
time. It's school kids every
Yeah,
time.
but yeah, as soon as they pick up a weapon and start attacking other kids, I don't care. I don't really care.
I understand
Oh,
that.
they
And
were
I understand
bullied
that.
and stuff like that.
I understand that some of them weren't, but you need to
Yeah.
realize that they are kids from that school. It's not some bad guys coming in. So if we're trying to protect the kids, we're protecting the school from bad guys coming in. I don't see a bunch of freaking Palestinians trying to take over my school like freaking.
Okay, you're right. It's not the threat is mentally ill people from the community generally.
Exactly.
Right. And do you think you're going to be able to negotiate with mentally ill people that have
and mentally
they've already
ill,
fantasized
you've got to
about
be careful with
something.
that. You've got to be careful with that word mentally ill as well, because that word, as we do in America these days, we put one definition on one word and we keep that definition to that specific word or phrase.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a charged statement.
You already most people think, oh, he's dumb. Mentally ill doesn't mean that you are dumb or you have a lack of intelligence or learning deficiencies. You can be a genius and still be mentally ill coming up with a plan. The reason I say this, JJ, is because Ashley and I, over the weekend, we sat down and we had some time and we were like, let's watch a movie. And so we flipped it over, and she's got a subscription to the Daily Wire, and we've got the app on our smart TV. So we pulled up the Daily Wire, and they've got a lot of movies on there that they make with people that have been blacklisted from Hollywood and conservative Republican actors and stuff. So Thomas Jane and Treat Williams, who just got killed.
Seriously?
Was in this movie called Run, Hide, Fight. And it's about a school shooting. And it was so freaking, me and Ashley, it's one of those where you're not picking up your phone to look at it and you're not getting distracted.
You're captivated
you're
the whole time.
Captivated the whole time. You don't want to miss anything. And me and Ashley were actually sitting on our seats of the couch like, it was making us nervous. At one point, she had a business come in because she's a real estate agent. She's like, can you pause this? And I was like, yeah, because I need to pause it because I'm a little on edge right now. That's making me a little, but it's one of those, it's not a Hollywood fluffy movie. You were like, whoa. And the antagonist was a kid who was very smart.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. He, of course, when we define mental ill, he was murdering people. So yes, that's a mental illness, but he was not, he did not have a learning deficiency. He was a very smart and calculated person. So
if I can reframe my comments slightly, I meant a mentally ill person as opposed to a terrorist coming in from Libya.
And I didn't mean to like insinuate that I was like picking on you. I was just trying to define that for anybody that wants to argue the semantics.
Because there's going to be people, I know for sure there's going to be people like, oh, we can't have guns in the schools. These are going to be guns carried by cops. So let me show you the story real quick, and then we can have an opinion on what's actually happening. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has signed a bill that mandates all Texas schools have armed security. The Republican governor signed it on into law Tuesday, and it's going to go into effect September 1st. The new law would give $330 million to build security centers on campuses and will strengthen the state's school safety center, a local Texas outlet reported. The law also requires annual audits of school protocol and has staff undergo mental health training.
Absolutely.
Staff. So you're not even going to have like not even have a
the
crazy
thing's all blurry
teacher.
For some reason. I don't know why.
Is it really? Oh, it's because it's on the...
I agree with that, though. I mean, but the problem with that, let's look at problems with that. You're requiring staff to go through some extra training. Hey, man, this staff is underpaid anyway. We need to give our teachers a lot more money, first of all. And second of all, give them extra money if they're going to have to go through all this extra and have a different role.
Well, it may be the security staff that has
No,
goes through
I
training.
bet
And
teacher staff would have to go through training as well, JJ.
I mean, please, I hope they do.
I don't want to give away anything from that movie, but I highly recommend watching that movie. It was really, really good. I didn't realize it because when the movie started, I was like, gosh, man, that looks like the Punisher, Thomas Jane. And then I started looking,
I
I was like,
love
"Crap,
Thomas
that is
Jane,
Thomas
dude.
Jane."
I
And
love
then
Thomas
Treat
Jane. He's
Williams'
been
name
in
popped up on the screen. I was like,
Thomas has done a bunch of movies. First of all, I like his Punisher movie. In fact, I think I
I
like
do
his
too.
Punisher movie
I-
maybe better than any other Punisher
Ye-
movie.
no, well, the Netflix
I know a lot of
Punisher with
people.
old dude,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
best.
he's good.
Period.
He's certainly very
Oh,
good.
he's the even
I'm just
before
saying
I
I
watched
enjoy
the
it.
Punisher series, I do too. I always enjoyed Thomas Jane, even though it was kind of a movie, but I like him, and I thought he portrayed it good.
Yeah,
But old dude, John, what's his name now? I can't think of his name. John Bernthal.
Barenthal. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got to bring up his picture for folks.
I like that guy too.
If
I do.
if you were to take the Punisher from the comic book and magically make him into a real human,
Yeah,
this is exactly what he
it
would
might
look
be.
like.
It might
Period.
be.
I mean, that is like someone drew the Punisher in
Yeah.
real life. When he come up on the
Yeah.
screen, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Look, I
And
admit it. You got all the point. I mean, like his Punisher is dark. It's brooding. It's dealing
his
with like
nose,
military
look at his
trauma,
nose. He
personal
looks like it's
family
been
trauma.
broken
He looks like
17
he's been in
freaking
like
times.
100 fights.
I know. He looks like he's just had his ass kicked
Yes.
so many times.
And
But
is he the more legitimate interpretation of Punisher? Yes,
No.
I will give you all of that.
let
But
me tell you
I
something
really like
else
watching
about
Thomas
him.
Jane on screen.
I do too, but let me tell you something else about John there. In the Daredevil season 2, when they're setting up on the roof and he's talking to Daredevil, he
Yeah.
made me cry, dude. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
he was telling that story, and I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, dude, the fucking Punisher just made me cry. You know, it was so fucking good. At that moment, I was like, best, period.
Yeah.
Best. I'm hooked. That's I
And
love
they
that.
stole
wish
that
they would
scene
make-
straight from a Daredevil comic too.
I wish that's great. Then they did a great job.
Yeah.
But they need to continue that. I would have watched 20 seasons of The Punisher with him. Just tell stories of The Punisher. Just
Yeah.
why in the hell did
Well,
they do that?
I think you're gonna
God
get. I think you're
almighty.
gonna get some more Punisher.
I
think you're
hope
getting more
so
Punisher.
because he was the best.
I mean, he's
All
very
right,
good.
enough geek talk.
I'm just saying, acknowledging all of that. I just really like to watch Thomas Jane on screen.
I do too. He's a good. I like him. Well, you got
In fact,
man
what about
crush.
hey? We got all this Spider-Man amazing stuff, garbage verse. Why don't we have a Punisher verse? We'll have Dolph Lundgren and we'll have
Dolph
Thomas
Lundgren.
Jane.
Dolph
We'll have all the
Lundgren's
Punishers.
That could be cool.
Okay.
All right.
Oh wait, Marvel. Do you know Marvel is like basically just. You know what they did with the Punisher logo in the comics, right? Because Marvel is so ass busted about police and basically like preppers and people like that using the logo patch and being a symbol for like kind of being a badass or whatever. Marvel is so up their own ass about that they basically tanked their own logo and they replaced it with some ninja garbage trash. And then they killed the Punisher character in the comics. And the way they killed him is they had his like dead wife resurrected and then come back and give him a lecture.
I gotta talk.
They emasculated the Punisher.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. Back to that story here. Some residents say the law is a great step in increasing protection for students in schools. Quote, I think if we have the good guys armed, I think it would minimize deaths. Yeah, I know. Right. I think it would minimize deaths. A San Antonio resident, April Reyna, told an interview with KSAT. And that is apparently not all the stuff that Governor Abbott's been doing lately. I'm going to jump over to this one here. Let me do this. Let me do this. Push the button. Share the story. Here we go. Texas Governor Abbott has bans DEI offices in public colleges and universities. Now, a lot of colleges in the state of Texas are paid for by the state of Texas, or at least receive considerable amount of funding. And so that funding is going to be linked, apparently, to removal of DEI super racist offices. Governor Abbott signed a bill Wednesday that would prohibit diversity, equality, and inclusion offices in Texas public colleges and universities starting in 2024. Both chambers of the Texas legislature approved the final version of the bill, Senate Bill 17, which would ban higher education institutions from maintaining or establishing DEI offices. It also prohibits higher education institutions from requiring anyone to provide DEI statements or participate in DEI training. The legislation defines the DEI office as one that provides different treatment to people based on race, aka super racist, sex, color, or ethnicity through any policies, procedures, training, programs, or activities under the law. Students or employees could sue universities for injunctive or declaratory relief if they are required to participate in DEI training. Republican lawmakers have spent this year's legislative session in Texas railing against DEI offices and initiatives in higher education, which they say are divisive and cause a chilling effect on faculty and student speech. And when people get these offices that get established in these universities, and then the offices themselves become captured by ideologues, and then they force other parts of the department, like, oh, you have to comply with this, DEI office. You have to comply with this DEI office, and it causes faculty who are like, man, I don't want to deal with this, but like, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to get considered in the next committee for hiring, for promotion and stuff like that. So, I mean, the people get into these offices and they use this as a lever of power to force policies they want. So these kind of institutions become captured.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm good for this. We don't need this. Let's see. State Senator Brandon Creighton, who's a Republican out of Conroe, that's like 20 minutes north of here, asserted banning them is a victory for free speech. Texas universities and the state's commitment to fostering true diversity and merit in higher education.
Banning what?
Banning DEI offices.
Oh.
Yeah. He said eliminating DEI offices will result in millions of taxpayer savings and restore free inquiry, meritocracy, equal opportunity, and genuine innovation. I mean, I'm just about this kind of like perspective. Where the hell are you? I don't even know where you went. I lost you. There you are. I found you. Look, public money should just be evenly divided. If it's going to be spent at all, it should be evenly divided and based on success and merit, not based on sex, gender, what kind of rainbow horse you think you are. It shouldn't be based on color. It should just be like, all people, here's a program that advances everybody. Here's a program that advances everybody. Or, here, Texas, have your tax money back. Give it back. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I agree, but in theory,
maybe we'll see. I don't know. All right, let's
whatever kind of rainbow horse you think you are. I think I'm going to start doing that. That's great.
I don't know. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about another governor. Do you believe in Ron DeSantis, Deacon?
Like, do I believe in him? Like, is he going to like come and make my wishes come true?
Yeah, I mean, is he the answer to your prayers for the salvation of our country, currently run by a geezer with a sock puppet?
No, but you want me to tell you what
policies?
Ron DeSantis has that I think that they've kind of picked up on, because the last person that displayed this, half the country like feverishly loves this man and half the country feverishly hates this man. And I think Ron DeSantis has kind of picked up on, hey man, if I just show a little balls and don't back away from shit and just show some balls and back up what I say and go against what go what I believe in and stand up for what I believe in and without and it's kind of like, wow, you've had a couple of guys that do this and everybody loves them. That's what I like about Ron DeSantis is that he seems like he's got some balls and he wouldn't bow.
I'll agree with that. In fact, I think his policies, he more often than not, from what I've seen, puts policies in place that are like dismantle, like, garbage policies and puts good policies in place. And the Florida seems very, very happy with Ron. So, but there's a lot of people out there that think that like Ron is the answer. And I'm not convinced. I'm not sold.
I don't know if he's the answer, but he is maybe a answer.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a choice from the limited choices that we have.
I mean, thankfully, we have a while to figure this out, to figure out what's going on. I will tell you that there's a number of Republicans that are running that I'm like, fuck that guy, especially Chris Christie. I like that guy.
I heard that on the news the other day. It was like, Chris Christie's running. Like, jeez.
So, if Ron DeSantis became the nomination, I'd be like, okay. And he certainly, I think he would be very competitive because a lot of the country would be like, oh, we can get the 89-year-old geezer again, or we can go with somebody who's in their 40s and it's like, making good policies. But I don't believe he's sniffing. I saw him shuffle over to some woman the other day and was like, and then one of the Secret Service guys kind of walked right up to him and was like, Mr. President, come this way.
Can you imagine? I've thought about this. This is hilarious. Can you imagine, put yourself as a fly on the wall in the meeting with the head of the Secret Service, meeting with the Secret Service agents that have to protect President Biden. And he's like, okay, look, this guy is going to get inappropriately close, having that conversation with those Secret Service, because those guys have had this conversation that they know to watch for the president, because I really think, okay, I know a person that was a young, attractive female teacher in the 90s that had gotten hired by the Bill Clinton teacher program. And Bill Clinton, when he was going across the country for a PR tour, he picked her classroom and she got to meet him. And Bill Clinton came to her classroom and she was telling me all of the procedural stuff that they had to go through with the Secret Service stuff. And she said the first girl that arrived, and when they first met her, they were like, she goes, hang on. And she got on the phone and she was like, blah, 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 blah. This girl is a young, attractive girl. Is this going to be a problem for the president? Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, okay, all right. So, those Secret Service guys go through shit with every president. So, like, okay, look, Joe likes to sniff little kids and he can't help himself. Please try to steer him away from doing this when cameras are always watching him, and we need to keep him from doing that. They've had this conversation.
So first of all, these are some things I'm thinking about from what you're saying. None of this is in email. Like all of the detachment of people that protect the president, none of them email each other about like, oh, the president's dirty this way, dirty that way. It's all, if it's going to be conversed at all, it's person to person, off the record. You know what I mean? It's not, there's no paper trail of this kind of conversation. I was listening to, maybe it was like 2 months ago, Dan Bongino tell some story about being into stuff. And he was telling a story about his friend who was temporarily assigned to the presidential detail detachment and saw some hanky shit. Oh, it had to do with the presidential detachment that was guarding maybe a former president flying to Epstein Island. So it was years and years ago. And on the flight, so his buddy was temporarily assigned to this detachment for a former president, and the president was going to Epstein Island. So the Secret Service detachment was on the plane going, and they saw this agent saw a young girl, too young, go in the back of the plane with the former president and for a little while, and then came out. And then after that was like, I am not doing this again. Get me shipped home. I'm not going to be on this detail. So what I mean to say is there is a detachment for each, president, and they have regular shifts. They work a regular beat. And some of those guys are, I guess, very okay with some nasty stuff. You know what I mean? So like
some people have a lot less morals than I do. I found.
Yeah.
They don't.
I'm not
don't
going to accuse any.
No, I'm not going to accuse anybody, but yeah, everybody's morals are different. I have found that in life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where was I on this story?
We're done with that story.
What story was I even on? I don't know. Oh, I was going to talk about Ron.
Yeah,
Ron DeSantis says that he will purge the FBI on day one of his presidency if he's elected.
I saw this and I was like, what? Okay, Joe Biden. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to legalize weed. Yeah. And we're going to make everybody go to college for free. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I just don't believe it. I mean, what happens is like, even if you go all the way and you get nominated, and then like basically you get elected president elect, and then you get like 2 months of like debriefings or whatever. And in that time, they're like, hey,
you can't do this shit.
Can't do this shit.
Can't do that. All right, I got a story for you though, JJ. Yeah. This is pretty interesting. I actually talked about this the other day while we were making supper. These AI algorithms have found drugs that can combat aging. We talk about AI on here all the time, and I talk about how we are in the infancy of AI and how it can help medically. And we've talked about several things. I try to point out all of the possibilities of AI. We had the rat study, and we had the trees and the mushrooms and all this. Right, this is really cool. So AI algorithms have discovered that 3 drugs could help combat aging by safely removing defective cells linked to age-related conditions such as cancer, Alzheimer's, and declines in eyesight and mobility. All right, listen. The drugs were found using a machine learning model that screened over 4,000 chemicals, identifying 21 potential drug candidates for experimental testing. The study is a milestone in computer science and AI since the university established its first research hubs 60 years ago. So AI algorithms have discovered 3 drugs that could combat aging by safely removing defective cells. All right. And these cells are linked to age-related conditions like Alzheimer's and declines in eyesight and mobility and cancer. Lab tests in human cells revealed that 3 of the chemicals called blah, 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 were able to remove sentient cells without damaging healthy cells. The study is a milestone in computer science. So I'll post this. It's not a really long article, but I'll post this article right now for anybody that wants to do this and cross-reference, because that's what I like to do. I like to go and look and then look this up some more and then go and see if I can find something else. So I'll put this in our general.
All 3 are natural products found in herbal medicines.
And
they're not going to tell us what they is so that they can market
no, it was
they tell you what the chemicals are, but what are the natural herbal medicines?
3 of the chemicals were able to remove. You
I
could probably look up what the 3 medicines are in. Gink, getting.
Yeah, I see these unpronounceable.
Verloken and Orlandrin. Yeah, that's why I skipped over them.
Consonantal.
Yeah, there they are right there.
Yeah, but no, it says it's available in traditional herbal medicines, but they won't tell you what the herbal medicines are, because you can, instead of doing all that, you could just be like, oh, you just gotta like eat these herbs or whatever. All right, that's
there
cool.
Ginkgo biloba.
Ginkgo biloba dingy.
Ginkgo biloba is the one.
All you got to do is grind up some walrus testicles twice a day.
It's just walrus,
and you can be immortal.
Isn't that cool? That's cool. AI is finding crap that we wouldn't.
Wasn't there an AI story that we didn't cover? Wasn't there an AI story? You told me something the other day, and I was like, I hadn't even thought of that. Because I
There was the
normally
one story about how AI is helping diagnose stuff, and I thought how one doctor can use AI instead of having one woman go to like 15 different doctors over the course of 15 years to find out finally what's wrong with her. The AI is helping with one doctor given the, oh, well, it could be a list of 20 things. And in that 20 things, that doctor's tried 19 of them, but he hasn't tried the one. And the one ends
right.
up being, you know what I mean? And that
Yeah,
woman's
no,
tried
no, it wasn't. It
19.
wasn't a beneficial thing. It was like a
Oh,
military application. Like you brought something
oh,
up, and
it
I was
was
like,
no, it was I know what it was. It was the AI robots that feed on organic tissue to
yes. Oh my god, didn't even think of this. I've been thinking like, how do we start this robot war so that we can win and get over the hurdle? And then you dropped a story the other day about AI robots or something that eat biomatter, and I was like, oh, that is genius.
oh,
I
JJ
mean,
was like,
in an
fuck.
evil supervillain kind of way.
Yeah, I can't find the
Okay. Yeah, that's a scary one too. All right. Hey, I don't know. We talked the other day about some. I don't know if we talked about this story or not, but we talked the other day about like people getting their accounts locked out or something like that. And this story was kind of floating around last week about a guy who has Amazon smart home. So he's got Alexa and he's got the locks and doors and the TV and all of this stuff. And apparently Amazon took issue with something that he said and locked his account and shut down his house, except he didn't actually say it. So Amazon took a report that this guy said something racist and shut down his account for a week, leaving him unable to monitor or secure his home with
Yeah, that's
Amazon
what
stuff.
there's a drawback to your smart homes and stuff is that
Yeah,
now they've got you. So what's
yeah,
the workground to that, JJ? You going to do it
yeah.
yourself?
Get more smart home because the guy used Siri. Okay, so Bezos, Amazon shuts down a man's entire smart home after a delivery worker claimed racism. So
Fuck
it
these
was
delivery
early.
worker. Let me tell you a story about a delivery worker real quick. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, used to fly a battle flag outside his house, and he lived way back in the fucking country, okay? And they
Yeah.
were ordering some shit for his breathing apparatus, his medical breathing apparatus one time. And the
Hmm.
UPS claimed and claimed and claimed and claimed that they had delivered it, and he went through all this rigmarole because he needed this breathing apparatus, this medical breathing apparatus. The fucking ups man had 3-4 days later, 5 days later, they happened to go out to the back building behind the house, to this old shed behind the house, and there's the package in the back building behind a door. Now, how did that package get there? They know how it got there. The ups driver came up, saw that battle flag, that Confederate battle flag, and got pissed off and went and hid the fucking package so that he delivered it, but he hid it. Is the only that's the only what
It's the
else
only thing that makes sense.
is the
You
only
don't have
logical thing that makes sense.
you don't have people crawl.
They live
You
back in
got
the middle of
people.
nowhere. There's no neighbors. They have one neighbor that's close, and it's an old man that their best
Yeah,
friend. He wouldn't have done it.
you got people porch hunting to steal packages, but nobody steals a package and then it hides it on the same property. So yeah, it would only be the UPS guy.
So yeah, delivery workers are very, very biased. You got to be careful with this ad. You got to tip every
So
fucking body now.
so let me tell the story of what happened to this dude at Amazon. So this guy wasn't home, right?
Mhm.
And hold on, where is it? Here, this guy wasn't home. The delivery worker pushed the doorbell. The delivery worker had on earphones too, so he was like listening to music or some shit, or who knows what. But he pushed the little Ring doorbell. I don't know if you have a Ring doorbell or one like it. But he pushed the doorbell, and then if the person that owns it doesn't grab their phone and respond, then there's some automated responses. So the Ring doorbell, the delivery worker pushed it, and after a moment, the doorbell said, "Excuse me, can I help you?" And apparently, there was a misunderstanding as the delivery worker interpreted that as I have no idea what because they won't tell us. But then he called Amazon and said a racial slur was used. Somehow, this delivery worker misinterpreted "Excuse me, can I help you?" as some sort of racist slur. then
Maybe it
then
was the pop song that you were listening to in your earphones, since every pop song has racial slurs in them.
for real. So then he was locked out for a week. So basically, they shut his account down, and it wouldn't have been like shut his security account down. The guy called in and they shut his entire Amazon account down. And as a byproduct of that, all of the tokens and keys that his apps, you sign into an app and then like it remembers who you are, all of that stuff would have been revoked. So that's how his entire security system was shut down as a byproduct of just shutting his account down. Anyway, so if you're out there with like, I mean, I've thought about getting like a Ring or I don't know what the Amazon version is, but this really makes me a little sketchy to trust anything to, especially like a super woke company. They may be cheaper and affordable and, I don't know, useful, but when they can, at their own whim, just destroy your house security, not good. Very, very bad. Okay.
Okay.
Here's one for you, Deacon. I found this morning, and I thought,
All
Deacon
right.
will think this shit's cool.
I do. I know what story it is, and when you popped it up there, I thought JJ put that story up there because he thought, hey, Deacon will think this is cool, because I already seen the story, and I thought to myself, hey, that's cool.
3,000-year-old sword found in the mud, discovered in Germany, is so well preserved it shines. Archaeologists. That's pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool.
Archaeologists found a sword. It's a Bronze Age sword at a burial site in Germany. Supposedly 3,000 years old. I'm immediately dubious because I don't trust anything based on, we found it in this dirt, so it's this old. I just don't. I'm skeptical of that. But anyway, I'm sure it's a very, very old sword. 3 bodies, including a man, a woman, and a teenager, were found, and with researchers left puzzled over whether or not they're related. The sword and burial still have to be examined for our archaeologists to further classify this find.
You know
look
that
at that
they
sword.
don't just you know that they don't just be like 3,000. I say 3. What do you say, Bill?
I know. Well, no, they base it like, we found it in this mud, in this layer of different kind of mud, and so that means it's this old. But
they don't just use that. I mean, it's also like, look at what they're wearing. Look at what this is made out of. Look at what this jewelry is.
Sure.
Yeah. This was similar to the whatever time period.
Hey, I'm so glad that you know how to answer this question because I'm very curious. So, how do they know how old that jewelry is? Because of the mud it's found in?
Based on, I mean, you can base it on several different factors. The dirt and the layers of dirt that the geologists have studied over the years and understand about the Earth's crust and stuff like that, and about how the Earth layers. And smarter than me, use that compiled with ancient archaeologists in other places that have found books and pictures and murals of ancient Egyptians wearing jewelry that we know the thing is at least 2,000 years old, because they have.
I'm not saying it isn't old. I'm saying, how do you know how old something is? How old exactly? They say, we're going to place this at 2,500 years old. Oh, this is 3,000 years old.
Are you getting philosophical about time?
No,
What do you mean?
No,
because
what I'm saying is.
What is your answer? What do you want me to say? What is the answer you're wanting me to say? Because
I'm just saying, no. I'm just saying, explain like I'm 5 how this is great. Come here. Mom's probably at the gym, and you are just in time. Yeah. Can you tell me how old dinosaurs are? How do you know how old they are?
I can't play that game.
Oh, you want to play Pac-Man? No.
I have idea, man. I want to go play with my frozen dolls.
Oh, okay. That's downstairs. I got her some frozen paper dolls yesterday, and that is more interesting to her than a Pac-Man arcade.
Absolutely, it is.
And up until yesterday, this was the most interesting thing in the world. And now she has some paper dolls of Frozen that are way more interesting than this.
Yeah, of course.
This is pretty cool. All right. No, what I'm saying is, if they use the layer of the mud to find out how old the thing is, and then they date the mud by the stuff that's in it, like that's an endogenous relationship. It's never been clearly explained to me how you actually know. And I know there's carbon-14 dating or whatever, okay, but then you can like take a snail and crush it up and get the wrong date out of a carbon-14 dating. So I just don't understand how you know how old things are. I just don't understand.
I know because
please leave a comment and tell me.
I know because
sure
I just make shit up off the top of my head. That's the only reason I know.
I think some other people make shit up off the top of their head.
Dude, every person has made shit up off the top of their head. Everything we know about space has been made up off the top of their head.
Right.
Here's a good example. Here's a good example. I don't remember who it was. Long ass time ago, theorized that in space, in the universe, in space, there's something else. Like we have air, the birds fly through the air.
Right.
The fish have water that they exist in the water, but the space is something. It's not nothing, it's something. So the theory they called it, this was hundreds of years ago.
Are you about to say ether?
The ether. And nowadays we thought those people were crazy and we didn't call it the ether, and we just but physicists nowadays call that dark matter. It's the same thing,
maybe
just a different word.
Yeah.
Dark, you know why it's called dark matter, JJ? You know what dark matter is?
Because they can't find it.
No, they don't know what it is. It's something that they know is there, but they can't find it, and they don't know how to measure it, but they know it's there, so they had to have a name for it. So they just called it dark matter.
So they picked the coolest sounding name.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Even if nobody can explain it, they were like, but that name is really cool. It sounds very
sounds cool, don't it? Yeah.
Dark matter.
Really dark matter. That's nothing.
I mean, I think they know it's there based on like, the planets and galaxies move and the movement or whatever isn't accounted for by the known mass. So there's unknown mass. Okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
But as a human species, we're a bunch of idiots on what we know and what we've been told about things and whatnot. So
I'm not saying everybody's lying to us. I'm saying that I think that I'm better off believing that it's very likely that people are lying to us than I am to just be like, oh, well, the scientists said it, so therefore I believe it. That's what they told me. So I'm gonna listen.
No, always believe, but you're questioning the wrong shit. It's like, why are you getting so fucking passionate over a 3,000-year-old sword?
I don't know.
It's like, why don't you take that passion that you're steering towards the little minute sword and put it towards something else, JJ?
Well, because of this, you mentioned the Egypt stuff, and like a lot of the stuff from Egypt was from like 2,500 years ago, maybe 3,000 years ago. Except it back in 2,500 and 3,000 years ago, some of that stuff might have already been very, very old, and we don't know.
You're exactly right.
And the Egyptians were like, check out this old stuff. This is amazing. I'm going to get this chisel and carve some new stuff into it. And now that new stuff, and now that old stuff is only as new as 2,500 years ago.
They think so. Along those same lines, there is a theory that the Sphinx is a lot older than we think it is. That it was there a long time before the pyramids were built.
Right.
And it was changed.
And I don't know. I just don't know about all of this stuff. There's a book, a crazy conspiracy book I've been looking at about Egypt stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
I know.
I don't know what to believe. I do
you've
believe
been told
that
something your whole life, and now that we're getting older, we're starting to question the shit that's been spoon-fed to us my whole life. And I'm like, wait a minute. It doesn't make sense if you actually sit down and actually think about the law. To me, it doesn't. When I actually sit down and think and don't just be like, okay, you're regurgitating the same story I've heard a million times. You know, what you told me as a kid, so I believed it as a kid. You know, if we were to tell your children right now, the sky's green and the grass is blue, in 5 generations, that's a fact, JJ. Well, that's what my dad said, and that's what his dad said, and that's what his dad's dad said, and that's what his dad's dad said, so it has to be a fact.
I mean, like, I don't question the construction of the pyramids. Like, I believe that, like, because there's like a big pyramid and then some smaller ones, and they got bigger over time. So the oldest ones are a lot smaller, and then they got bigger and bigger and bigger. I believe it's very possible that Egyptians figured out how to move heavy rocks kind of easily and, made that stuff. We don't exactly know how to do it all the time, but like I can believe that some very industrious, hardworking Egyptians built the pyramids. But then you have stuff like that's the Sphinx, except it looks like the Sphinx's face was blown off and somebody put some wrong size face on it, which makes it
World War One.
Yeah, that was Napoleon. Napoleon shot the nose off, but
was it Napoleon? I thought it was a lot sooner than that.
Maybe it was somebody else. I thought it was Napoleon that shot the nose off.
Maybe you're right.
Used it as target practice. Anyway, the Sphinx kind of looks like it's older than it's supposed to be, and it looks like somebody was like, they made all of this other stuff, and it looks like proportionate, and then the head is like, oh, it's like this size head on the Sphinx. It doesn't look right.
You don't think it was on the Anunnaki and they ruled the world and they came here from another planet, and that's why there's and all the pyramids are electrical conductors.
Sure, it's aliens.
And that did electricity.
I find the idea of pyramids being a resonant electrical generator kind of interesting.
That's interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw that same thing and I was like,
I find that idea to be that is a neat idea to capture the Earth's harmonics or whatever and turn it into electricity. You can take a magnet and spin it inside of copper and make electricity. So I don't know, maybe. I don't know. All right, Deke. We're at the end of the show.
We hadn't went a whole 30 minutes yet.
30 minutes? It's been an hour. It's almost an hour.
We didn't start until 5 after. Look at your Rumble stream, Fred.
I am. There's nobody watching.
I know. We're not on the front page today.
No.
Thank you for joining us, those that watched, because you're not at work, and that's why they're not watching us.
My brother, let me point this out. I think my brother was making the argument for Joe Biden. Gray hair is a crown of wisdom. Old age does not make someone unfit for leadership. Conversely, youth is rife with idiocy and ignorance. I guess he's saying he's a Joe Biden voter.
Oh, my God.
I don't think he's saying that.
I don't think he's saying that.
All right. Go on. All right.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, go to our Discord server. Yes. Throw that up.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. I need to figure out, is there a short code for this? No.
All right. JJ, I'm friends with 25. All right. You might be impressed with this, but I'm friends with 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. I don't know why.
All right, here you go. That's good. Thank you. Deke, how did the hairdresser win the marathon? You have any idea?
No.
You don't know how the hairdresser won the marathon?
This better have a good payoff.
She knew a shortcut.
Please join our Discord server to leave jokes for JJ so he can use. Tag him. Tag JJ. JJW. At JJW.
That's right. I did it. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Jeremy says he's an Adam Schniffer fan. An Adolf Schniffer fan. Ooh. Adolf Schniffer.
You're not hitting the button to close, and we're going down the road.
I messed it up. I did this. I got into trouble after the stream yesterday, guys.